This episode of the AI Daily Deep Dive podcast was researched entirely by the new AI model Gemini Deep Research and is fully AI generated. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really fundamental question. Based on the essay The Double-Edged Sword, AI, the Labor Market, and the Middle Class Abundance or Poverty. Basically, is AI going to make the middle class flourish or struggle?
Yeah, it's a huge question.
And our mission here is really to unpack the key arguments from this essay for you. We want to give you a clear sense of the potential paths ahead, without getting bogged down in super technical stuff.
Exactly. So let's start with the AI landscape as the essay sort of lays it out. Modern AI, it's not just your old school automation. It learns from data, it handles cognitive tasks that makes it a potential general purpose technology, or GPT. Think electricity or the internet.
Right, something with really broad transformative impact. And the essay really hammers this home, doesn't it?
It does. Look at generative AI like ChatGPT. The adoption rate was, well, unprecedented, faster even than the internet took off initially. That suggests, serious momentum.
Okay, so what can it do right now, according to the essay?
Well, it's good at processing massive amounts of data, creating content, analyzing trends, translation, even customer service assistance, a lot of things.
But it's not perfect, right? The essay mentions limitations.
Definitely. And this is crucial. AI can make stuff up, these hallucinations people talk about. It can inherit biases from the data it's trained on. And, it doesn't understand things in a human way, no real common sense. So human oversight is still essential.
And the essay brings up this idea of AI exposure. What's that about?
It's basically a measure of how much a job's tasks could potentially be automated by AI, or conversely, how much AI could help someone do their job augmentation.
Got it. And looking ahead, the essay talks about improvement speed.
Yeah, this is where it gets potentially quite dramatic. The projections suggest AI could hit median human-level performance in a lot of technical areas by the end of this decade.
Wow, within the decade, that's fast.
It's incredibly fast. And the essay argues that this speed, combined with the focus on cognitive tasks, is what really sets this wave apart. It's not just automating manual labor like before. It's directly engaging with skills used in white-collar, middle-class jobs.
Okay, so that brings us to the job market itself. The essay suggests a sort of pattern. An S-curve.
Right. The economic effects probably won't be immediate and massive everywhere. More likely a slow start, maybe where we are now or just past it, followed by potentially rapid acceleration in, say, the next 5 to 10 years.
Which feels like a really important time frame for the middle class, for planning, for adapting.
Absolutely. And the essay then digs into the potential scale of the impact. It notes there are varying estimates out there, some early studies, and organizations like the IMF suggested quite high percentages of jobs globally, especially in advanced economies, could be at a high risk of automation.
But that's not the whole picture, is it? The essay presents other views.
No, it balances it. It highlights research, like from McKinsey or OECD task-based studies, that suggests it's more about job transformation. AI automates specific tasks within a job rather than wiping out the entire role necessarily.
So even if we don't see mass unemployment, the way people work could change dramatically.
Exactly. The essay really stresses that. A task-based analysis still points to a huge reshaping of the labor market. And it identifies sectors that are particularly exposed, often where many middle-class jobs are concentrated.
Let's name some. What does the essay highlight?
Okay, so high exposure areas mentioned include office and admin support, customer service, sales, finance, insurance, legal services, also some parts of IT, media, creative industries, and education too.
That's a pretty wide swath of the typical middle-class landscape.
It is. But then it contrasts these with sectors likely to be less exposed. Think construction, extraction, installation, maintenance, repair, jobs that often involve physical dexterity, unpredictable environments.
Okay, what else?
Also direct healthcare roles, hands-on stuff, non-routine hospitality and food service tasks, agriculture, community services, things needing complex human interaction or physical skill.
It's not all doom and gloom, though, right? Does the essay talk about new jobs?
Yes, definitely. It points to emerging and growing roles, things like AI and machine learning specialists, obviously, but also AI trainers, prompt engineers, AI ethics specialists, and roles tied to other big trends like sustainability, green jobs, cybersecurity.
So it's a complex picture across different sectors.
Very. The essay actually summarizes this neatly, looking at estimated task exposure, whether the impact is likely automation or augmentation, which roles are affected, and the projected job trends for each sector. It shows just how varied the effects could be.
Which leads us right into that core debate the essay tackles. Is AI going to displace workers or augment them? What's the evidence for displacement?
Well, the essay cites studies that appeared after generative AI tools became widely available. These showed some decrease in demand or hiring freezes for occupations seen as highly automatable. And it also looks at historical parallels. Past waves of automation did lead to job losses in certain industries over time.
Okay, but what about the other side? The augmentation argument.
The essay makes a strong case there, too. Often, AI automates parts of a job, the more routine tasks, freeing up humans for higher value activities, strategic thinking, complex problem solving. It mentions studies showing increased demand for jobs with high augmentation potential. And where humans and AI collaborate, you can see significant productivity gains. Interestingly, it notes this might particularly benefit less experienced workers, helping them get up to speed faster.
So it's not necessarily one or the other. The essay mentions task recomposition.
Exactly. That's probably the most likely reality according to the essay. Jobs change. AI takes over some functions, human work shifts. It becomes more about collaborating with AI, managing AI systems, interpreting AI outputs, focusing on the human elements AI can't replicate. It's a dynamic reshaping.
And what determines whether displacement or augmentation wins out?
The essay argues it's not predetermined by the tech itself. Big factors are corporate strategies, are companies adopting AI just to cut costs or to innovate and enhance capabilities. And crucially, how adaptable is the workforce? Are there good retraining and upskilling programs available?
Okay, let's widen the lens a bit. What about the broader economic ripples the essay discusses? Productivity, for instance.
Right. There's this long-standing productivity puzzle. Economists wondering why productivity growth has been sluggish despite new tech. The essay suggests AI has the potential to finally break that logjam, driving really significant productivity gains. It mentions early adopter firms already seeing this.
So big potential for economic growth then.
The forecasts mentioned are certainly optimistic, some talking about trillions added to global output. But the essay also injects some caution. It talks about the J-curve effect. Initially, the costs of adopting AI, the disruption, the learning curve, that might actually delay aggregate productivity gains before they take off. So there are also more conservative estimates about the near-term impact on GDP and productivity. It's not guaranteed to be an immediate boom.
And inflation. That's always a hot topic. How might AI affect that, according to the essay?
It's complex, with potential pushes in both directions. On one hand, AI could be disinflationary. Higher productivity means things get made cheaper, supply increases can lower prices. But on the other hand, the massive investment needed in AI itself, the potential for increased demand spurred by AI-driven growth, those could be inflationary. The essay notes that expectations about inflation will play a huge role here, too. It's quite uncertain.
A major concern that often comes up with automation is inequality. Does the essay address that?
Oh, yes. Extensively. It highlights the consistent concern that AI could amplify inequality. This could happen through what's called skills-biased technical change, basically, increasing demand and wages for high-skilled workers who can leverage AI, while depressing demand for middle or lower-skilled workers whose tasks are automated. Also, AI might allow capital, like AI systems themselves, to substitute for labor, shifting income from wages to profits. And it could widen gaps between leading firms or nations and those falling behind.
Are there any counter-arguments or nuances to that inequality picture in the essay?
There are. It acknowledges that AI might also negatively impact some high-earning professions if their cognitive tasks prove automatable. There's also a possibility of wage compression within certain occupations, as AI helps lower performers catch up. And if AI drives really strong overall growth, it's possible everyone could see some income gains, even if inequality ratios worsen. So again, not entirely straightforward.
Okay, let's bring it back squarely to the middle class. The essay details specific risks they face. What are the main ones?
The big one is job displacement, or significant transformation, particularly concentrated in those middle-skill cognitive roles we talked about: admin, analysis, customer service, etc. Then there's the risk of wage stagnation or even decline, as automation puts downward pressure on the value of certain skills. Also, the potential for de-skilling, where jobs become less engaging or require fewer complex skills because AI handles them. And increased inequality within the middle class itself, as some adapt better than others.
And barriers to adapting.
Right. Things like access to quality retraining, the challenges older workers might face in switching careers, and the persistent digital divide. Not everyone has equal access to the necessary tech or skills.
But it's a double-edged sword, as the title says. What are the opportunities for the middle class outlined in the essay?
There are significant ones. Augmentation is key. AI helping people be more productive, potentially leading to higher pay or better work-life balance. The creation of new middle-skill jobs focused on human-AI collaboration, managing AI systems, ensuring quality. Improved job quality, potentially, if AI takes over the boring, tedious parts of a job.
What about beyond work?
Yeah, the essay mentions the potential for lower costs of goods and services due to AI-driven efficiency, which boosts real purchasing power. Better, more personalized services in areas like education or healthcare, and even a democratization of expertise where AI tools give people access to knowledge and capabilities previously restricted to specialists.
So the essay seems to suggest the outcome really hinges on a couple of key things.
Yes, fundamentally. Is AI primarily used as a substitute for human labor or as a tool to augment human capabilities? That's one major axis. And the other is about intentionality, the design choices made for AI systems, and how seriously we take workforce preparation and adaptation.
Which brings us to responses. What does the essay suggest corporations should be doing?
Key strategies include obviously investing in and adopting AI, but doing it thoughtfully. Strategic workforce planning is crucial, anticipating skills gaps and investing in reskilling and upskilling. Moving towards skills-based hiring rather than just degrees, and critically, focusing on ethical AI deployment, fairness, transparency, accountability, keeping humans in the loop, and ideally, prioritizing augmentation strategies over pure automation where possible.
And on the government side, what policies does the essay highlight?
A lot of focus is on education and lifelong learning, promoting AI literacy for everyone, fostering critical thinking, creativity, social-emotional skills, the things AI doesn't do well, and accessible, effective retraining programs. Strengthening social safety nets is another big one. Better unemployment insurance, income support, possibly exploring things like wage subsidies for roles impacted by automation.
Does it mention universal basic income, UBI? That comes up a lot.
It does discuss UBI. It outlines the arguments for it, providing economic security, reducing poverty in a future with potentially less work. But it also lays out the significant challenges: the huge fiscal cost, potential impacts on work incentives, political feasibility. It mentions some innovative funding ideas like taxes on automation, but acknowledges it's a complex and controversial area.
What else on the policy front?
Regulation and governance of AI are vital, tackling algorithmic bias, ensuring data privacy, establishing accountability frameworks, security, and fostering international cooperation since AI doesn't respect borders. Promoting inclusive growth is key, actively steering AI development towards augmentation, supporting low-wage workers, investing in digital infrastructure for all, ensuring the economic gains are shared broadly.
And labor relations?
Yes, ensuring workers have a voice through social dialogue and protections against things like intrusive AI-driven workplace monitoring.
So it sounds like the essay really calls for a coordinated effort, businesses and governments working together.
Absolutely. It stresses that neither can solve this alone. It requires a partnership approach. Okay, to wrap things up, the essay presents these future scenarios, kind of crystallizing the possibilities. What's the first one? The optimistic view. Right. Scenario one is the augmented middle class. This leans towards abundance. Work involves AI co-pilots. Humans focus on higher-order skills. New middle-skill jobs in human-AI teaming emerge. Lifelong learning is normal. Hiring is skills-based. Productivity gains lead to moderate wage growth. Maybe better work-life balance. Remote work is common.
Then daily life in that scenario.
Seamless smart homes, helpful AI assistance, much improved and more affordable personalized education and healthcare. Lower costs for goods, chores automated, maybe autonomous vehicles are widespread. Family life sees less drudgery, more quality time.
What needs to happen for that scenario to play out, according to the essay?
It assumes proactive government policies, strong education, safety nets, focus on inclusive growth. It assumes corporations choose augmentation strategies, AI is developed ethically, and steered towards complementing humans.
Okay, what's scenario two? The middle ground.
Scenario two is the polarized middle class. This is more mixed, maybe more realistic, some might say. You see a divergence. Professionals in fields where AI augments work do well, but others, in roles easily automated, face displacement, wage pressure, job insecurity, maybe more gig work. Reskilling efforts struggle to keep up with the pace of change.
So a widening gap within the middle class itself.
Exactly. Daily life has AI conveniences, but also economic anxiety for many. High costs for essentials like housing might persist. Inequality is more visible. The digital divide remains a problem. Family life could see more financial stress.
And the assumptions underpinning that one.
Inconsistent policies, maybe a patchwork approach. Mixed corporate strategies, some automate aggressively, others augment. AI capabilities develop unevenly, productivity gains flow mostly to capital and the highest skilled.
And the final scenario, the pessimistic one.
Scenario 3. The eroded middle class. This leans towards poverty for many. Widespread automation of cognitive tasks hollows out traditional middle-class jobs. Chronic underemployment becomes common, maybe people pushed into low-wage service sectors. New AI-related jobs are highly specialized and limited in number. Human expertise gets devalued. Wealth and income become extremely concentrated.
That sounds pretty bleak. What would life look like?
Sharp societal divisions. A small technomic elite enjoying abundance, while the majority face declining purchasing power, limited access to the best AI, education, healthcare. Maybe a basic subsistence-level UBI exists out of necessity, but there could be significant social unrest and political instability. Family life is marked by hardship, limited opportunities for kids,
And the assumptions leading there.
a relentless corporate focus on automation above all else, government policy failures, inadequate safety nets, failed reskilling. AI's productivity gains captured almost entirely by a small elite. Mass displacement happens without adequate mitigation.
So 3 very different potential futures outlined there. Bringing it all together then, the essay circles back to that initial question: abundance or poverty for the middle class?
And the conclusion drawn in the essay is that neither extreme is actually inevitable. It's not predetermined. The most probable outcome, based on the analysis, is a significant redefinition of the middle class, and likely that polarization scenario, a growing split. But the degree depends heavily on the choices made.
Which really underscores the essay's main point. This isn't just about the technology.
Not at all. It's about human choices. Policy decisions, corporate strategies, the ethical guidelines we put around AI development, how we decide to distribute the gains.
So what are the absolute key areas the essay says we need to focus on?
It highlights several critical things: massive agile skills development, education, and retraining on an unprecedented scale. Policies deliberately designed for shared prosperity, not just growth. Social safety nets that are robust but also adaptable to these new challenges. Governance for AI that puts human well-being at the center. And serious efforts to bridge the digital divide.
So reflecting on this deep dive into the double-edged sword, it really seems the future of the middle class in this AI era is less about predicting what the algorithms will do.
And much more about our collective will, our decisions, about how we shape and deploy this incredibly powerful technology. Is it in service of broad human flourishing or something else?
It definitely leaves you with a lot to think about. The essay suggests the future is really in our hands. Which makes you wonder, doesn't it? What role should individuals, businesses, governments really play to ensure that positive future for the middle class isn't just a possibility, but the path we actually take?